no! Don't be afraid!
Freddy's Nightmares, the horror anthology show hosted by Freddy Krueger, is now available in its entirety on Tubi for free. Later on, we're going to chat about the big 8 episodes with Freddy actually a part of the plot, so stick around for that. You may not know this, but you've been missing out on over 5 hours of Freddy Krueger.
I always wanted to be on TV. Maybe now they'll give me my own show.
If you're like me, you recently got the 4K collection and you've been watching all the films, but you need more Freddy. This series premiered October 8th of 1988, less than 2 months after the theatrical release of A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. A great movie, by the way. The series ran until March 12th, 1990. The episodes were bookended by Freddy himself, of course played by Robert Englund, and he didn't hold anything back. He was the best part of this series, no doubt. The series was short-lived, but everyone who was watching TV in this era remembers seeing it at least once on TV. The episodes featured actors that were starting out you might recognize, like Brad Pitt and Lori Petty. However, Wes Craven himself in the Never Sleep Again documentary made it clear he wasn't crazy about the idea.
By the time it got to television, I was so much like, oh, they're going to drag this through every possible venue they can.
If you ask me, he looks back on it as a money grab. Producer Robert Shea basically gave free range to up-and-coming directors and writers, which has both positive and negative results in my opinion. Those who worked on the show talk about the demands of a low-budget show like this, and other than the big Freddy plot episodes, the episodes usually did feature characters living in Springwood, and often featured 2 stories connected with characters or subplots. A lot of people think of this show much like they do the original Friday the 13th series. It was a big pile of wasted potential, especially considering the episodes that do feature Freddy are really the ones worth watching.
Stick that in your VCR.
They're the ones that we're going to talk about today. Fans of A Nightmare on Elm Street, myself included, are perplexed and upset that we still don't have an official release of this entire series. I, for one, would be fine with a DVD release, and I know others would, be demanding a Blu-ray release of it, but let's be honest. The quality of what they probably have available of this, let's just get a DVD out with all the episodes. I'll take special features and new stuff if you want to make it, but bare minimum is fine too. Listen, I'm begging for some table scraps here. The UK had a few DVD releases, but nothing with complete seasons, and aside from the VHS tapes, Internet Archive, and torrents, you usually can't watch this series. The 2011 Blu-ray did feature 2 episodes of the series, but they weren't like episodes with Freddy in the plot. Hell, I would even be happy if they released a DVD that had just these 8 episodes on it. A few years ago, Tubi made this available to stream on their website or app or wherever you use Tubi, but it wasn't long before it disappeared, and now in 2025, I log into Tubi the other day, and sure enough, there it is, recommended to me, right back in my list because it was before. So let's talk a little bit about some of these episodes that you should check out this Halloween season. These 8 episodes feature Freddy in the actual plot. They're around 45 minutes each. That's 5 hours of Freddy the world just isn't seeing, including you. The first episode we're going to talk about is the pilot episode. It is called No More Mr. Nice Guy. It is Season 1, Episode 1, directed by Tobe Hooper. This is obviously the most famous episode of this series because it's the one that everybody will go and watch. They'll watch this and they're like, okay, that's enough. I've had enough of that. Because as we'll talk about this, you will see that it's by no means, the best series of all time or anything. It's the bar must be in hell when you prepare yourself for this series, you know what I'm saying? However, this episode does feature Robert Englund as an alive Freddy Krueger. Now, we've seen that before in some of the films, but this gives us a real glimpse into the trial and the townspeople's reaction to it. Overall, I would say this is the episode that you need to watch the most, and if you're into it, then you need to go through the rest of these for sure. If the series had just been kind of based around that and his initial, killings and uprising leading up to the first movie, that could have been cool. It could have been great. And we kind of get that scattered throughout. In fact, this plot continues in the next episode we're going to talk about. Sister's Keeper, Season 1, Episode 7. In this one, the twin daughters of the cop who was the main character of the first episode, I think he's actually the police chief, but now they're being hunted down by Freddy, and there's a lot of weird and interesting dynamics happening between them being twins and, dealing with Freddy. I won't spoil it, but it's very fascinating. You should check it out. So a lot of these episodes are sort of paired together like that, where they directly connect. But as I mentioned before, almost all of the episodes have 2 plots in them, and the second plot sort of begins where the first one ends. They're very connected. The next one we're going to talk about is titled Freddy's Tricks and Treats from Season 1, Episode 4. In this one, Freddy haunts a college student who claims she doesn't believe in him, and apparently that pisses him off. And this one is your Halloween special for the first season, and it's not bad. Seeing Freddy Krueger actually interact with Halloween it's fascinating. It's enjoyable.
Trick or treat!
It has a jack-o'-lantern mask and a hockey mask in the first 2 minutes of the episode. Halloween 3, Friday the 13th, come on. A little on the nose, but I like it. The plot is interesting, features a gnarly autopsy scene, and sure, now as I'm an adult, it's not the scariest thing I've ever seen, but if I had been a child flipping through channels and I would come across this, I would have died. You can really tell the budget of the show is nowhere to be found. The one-liners are out of control in this series from Freddy.
How's that for a facelift? You should always respect your elders.
It is a wild ride, I'm going to warn you. The second part of this features a dream study where somehow these dudes have some wires hooked up to this girl's head and they're just like watching her dreams, like somehow visualized. Like I can see how that'd be interesting for the plot, but also it just comes across as complete wacky bullshit. And sure, it is plenty wacky, but I've always enjoyed Freddy's antics. I'm a big fan of Freddy's Dead. The next episode we're going to talk about is Safe Sex. It's Season 1, Episode 22. This features a teenager who's in love with a goth girl who's obsessed with Freddy Krueger. And of course, this leads to the teenager being plagued with dreams involving Freddy. Is that all it takes to become a victim? Because, in the second half, the goth girl is tormented by the man of her dreams. Visually, this episode fucks. The vibes are immaculate. It is one of the coolest things I feel like I've missed out on. With the squealing guitars, the drum machines, the exquisite foggy lights and sets, you need to see this. It looks like a Vampire Skinamax movie set combined with like Power Rangers. Specifically that one set where, the Green Ranger's fighting Goldar. It's pretty heavy subject matter surprisingly, and graphic for TV without a doubt. And this episode in particular makes it clear how awesome the score is for this show. Pretty immaculate. For the budget, whoever was doing this, man. In Never Sleep Again, it's made clear that they cut out like 8 minutes from this specific episode too. If they ever release this on DVD, I doubt we'll get it, but I'd love to see those 8 minutes. The next episode is Dream Come True, Season 2, Episode 1. Now this one's about a therapist who tries to help a boy suffering from nightmares about Freddy Krueger, who winds up dreaming about him as well. The second plot involves a cameraman who wants to settle the question of Freddy's existence for good. And I just love the talk show setting that this episode brings about, and it continues in another episode we'll talk about. And I keep bringing up the lighting in these, but you can tell it's a sign of the low budget. But for me, it's really nice. This episode also features the funniest fall in television history, maybe.
Randy, are you all right?
The funniest fall I've seen since Chris Farley in Black Sheep.
Randy, are you all right?
And actually, this one has a surprising amount of really cool visuals, like Freddy's goo head. I'm telling you, you gotta hit up Tubi. There's a full-on decapitation in this. There's actually one in the first season. Lori Petty gets decapitated. And I always liked the idea of a cameraman or a journalist trying to figure out like a murder like this. There's always movies about that and stuff, and this episode works shockingly well. And I think this one in particular would have made more interesting plot for one of the movies than some of the movies that I've seen in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. They're good movies and I love them still, but let's face it, Dream Child is... And I noticed at the end of these episodes, Freddy never loses, like the movies. And it's always a temporary loss, right? But in these episodes, usually Freddy's just coming out as the victor at the end, and having some snarky laughs and going about his day to do more shit. The next episode we're going to talk about is Photo Finish, Season 2, Episode 4. This one features a photographer who is anxious to get her career back on track, and she gets some unexpected help from Freddy himself. The other plot features FBI agents coming to Springwood to investigate a homicide, but Freddy has some surprises in store for them. This is Season 2's Halloween special, and I'm glad it's another Freddy episode. I would say the positives for this episode are Freddy in the wraparound segments that are themed around Halloween, as well as one of the FBI agents just reminded me of Chet Desmond from Twin Peaks Fire Walketh Me. Plus, the aesthetic of the actual photo shoots with the models is pretty awesome. Next up, there is Dreams That Kill from Season 2, Episode 11. This one's a sequel to Dreams Come True that we talked about before. The new host of Springwood Confidential receives a warning from Freddy not to proceed with his latest show topic, Dreams That Kill. He ends up getting completely destroyed by Freddy, essentially, and then a doctor in the second plot takes over and uses an experimental procedure and transfers his consciousness to another guy. It's actually pretty existential for this series, surprisingly. It's definitely one that really captured my imagination, and Freddy's performances in these are, I gotta say, they're pretty gold. They're what makes this series worth actually checking out. And I know people talk about this series all the time, and most people will say that, oh yeah, there's 1 or 2 episodes with Freddy in them. And upon doing research, man, there's 8. That he's directly involved in the plot. He is the villain, you know what I mean? And he's not in all of them. But also, I want to note that there is cannibalism in this episode. It's depicted in a dream, sure, but cannibalism on TV in 1989. This is maybe 2 doors down from, Married with Children. The last episode we're going to talk about is called It's My Party and You'll Die If I Want You To. It is Season 2, Episode 12. This one's the sequel to the modeling photo episode and features some of the same characters. And I didn't mention this before, I don't think, but some of the characters are a little linear. They hop from episode to episode if they are not characters who died. This one features a psychic that gets possessed by Freddy, which is fascinating. I mean, we've seen Freddy possess people before. In this one, though, Freddy gets to possess a woman and assault her from inside her own body. I think this series is more connected to Freddy than Friday the 13th ever was to Jason, and I think it deserves a little more credit for what the writers and directors and actors and actual people who worked on the show tried to do. They knew the production company thought it was a money grab and they didn't take it seriously, and they acted accordingly as well. Real quick, I do want to mention you can join the channel as a member. If you do that, you'll get access to some exclusive videos and stuff. Every month I release a video where I talk about my monthly haul, physical media, everything from VHS to 4K. I've put the titles and episode numbers and all that in the description down below. So head on over to Tubi and check these episodes out. And if you like this video, be sure to check out this one and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.